Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As usual, as soon as we start this program, you have the freedom, you have the opportunity, and we provide the government has provided the medium. Pick up your telephone, give us a call. The number to call is 442-0175. We're on RealFM 91.9, 91.5. We're on YouTube and Facebook. And we encourage you to share our program. Share our program, subscribe to the channel. So anytime the program comes on, you will be notified. Subscribe to the channel. If you have difficulties subscribing, ask the younger ones. They're good on the phone. Ask your children. They're good on the phone. And share the program. Like and share the program. Today is March 13th. A day in history that every Grenadian ought to know about. It's a day in history everybody in the Caribbean needs to know about. Grenada was the first country in the Western Hemisphere that overthrew its government. I say that, but I remember Haiti did something. So in the English speaking, to overthrow the government by armed forces. The government that existed then was a legitimate government. They won the election in 1976. They won 9 seats, and the opposition won 6. The alliance, all the other political parties joined together to take on Gulp and Gary. Gary won 9 seats, and the alliance led by Maurice Bishop won 6 in 1976. In 1979, March 13, the government was overthrown. I have always believed that it was a sad day for democracy in our country. The government was overthrown. Maurice Bishop was placed in charge. You had the people's law. Some people jump up, they celebrate, they whine. And within a few weeks after, some of the very people who supported the armed overthrow of Gary started to become worried. Maurice Bishop lied to the public. The reason he gave for overthrowing the government was the government wanted to smother the press, police brutality, and excesses by the government. Well, Tillman Thomas, who then became the Prime Minister of Grenada, found out very early that Bishop had lied to them. He had deceived them. He tricked them. He used a law. He used their own hatred against them. They hated Eric Gary, and Bishop was a wise man. He used that against them. Tillman Thomas ended up in jail. He was a human rights lawyer. Dr. Japal, a number of other people in Grenada who supported Maurice Bishop. They never recognized that Maurice Bishop was Marxist-Leninism. Maurice Bishop didn't believe in religion. They think religion is the opium of the people. I guess like Deaton, he believed morality is a private thing. This was the government we had. All of a sudden, we had a government that was no longer interested in religion. Although they were well supported by the top echelons of the churches in Grenada. A number of people got opportunity to further their education in Russia, East Germany, Czechoslovakia. A number of people got opportunity to further their studies. The majority of them went to Cuba. That was good. Maurice Bishop introduced, and let's give him that NIS. That was good. And the international airport, which is now called Maurice Bishop International. I always ask the people who claim it was a glorious revolution if the ends justify the means. And what price Grenadians paid, and was it necessary? Barbados had international airport. Thousands of Barbadians was trained in the very said communist countries. Barbados have NIS. Not one Bajan went to jail. St. Lucia had 2 airports, Hiwanora and VG. No St. Lucian went to jail for them to build an airport. St. Vincent today have an airport. No Vinci went in jail. Over 3,000 Grenadians. Maurice Bishop signed the order to jail 3,000 Grenadians without charge, without trial, or without an opportunity to defend themselves. I've never heard asked how many Grenadians were killed by accident. How many Grenadians end up in hospital for months? And I know 2 of them, I don't know if they're still alive, they're in a home because of accidents. Thousands of Grenadians left the country to avoid heavy manners. When you hear those revolutionary boys say, command, you want to turn back the revolution? Anything you disagree with, they sum it up as if you want to turn back the revolution. And that was the order of the day for 4.5 years. At a period of time, they start to panic. They realize that productivity dropped seriously in the country. We had a brain drain. Officers were just living. Individual in the army was living. They had their politicos to go out to preach against religion and try to intimidate people. But the villages that was really targeted for some of the most brutal and barbaric acts of the revolution was Monkridge and the surrounding areas. Monkridge, Montrule, some individuals in Hermitage, Snail Hall, etc. And Tivoli, La Poterie, Belmont. It was really hard on these individuals. A lot of them left this country. A lot of them went to prison. Target practice was taken on Mikey Foot. And a number of other atrocities were committed in the country. Every March 13, there are some Grenadian communists, and that is a sad paradox, That is when you live in a lie. The most hardline communists in Grenada went to capitalist country. They didn't go to Russia. They didn't go to East Germany. They didn't go to Czechoslovakia. Cuba, they refused to go. They went and hid in America. They went in America, England, and Canada. All the hardline communists in Grenada that used to jail people and call them CIA agent, they went to America. Some of them studied there, and then they come back and involve in the country. Communism is a lie. It's a failure all over the world. They don't believe in religion. The paradox of it all. Quite a lot of people who claim they are Christians support the communist policies. It's almost a paradox. Because these communists don't believe in religion. They used to pray. Bishop needs to start no meeting with prayer. You don't believe in God? I know maybe on the 9th hour, like the thief on the cross, perhaps Bishop was converted and gave his heart to God. Because his wife was pregnant and she too was executed. I understand she rubbed she belly and tell him she pregnant. That couldn't save her. When they out the cigarette on Bishop and Bishop complained, they tell him, that's what you teach us to do, to out with cigarette on victims. When you have leaders and they are against religion, they're against Christianity, or they're against religion, it's religion that introduces compassion and mercy and forgiveness and turn the other cheek. So you see, all such atrocities are committed by these individuals because they don't care about religion anymore. So it was easy for Bishop to out his cigarette on his victims. Or they had to beg for water to bathe within his time. Or to tell lies because they felt it was, we do anything possible. They like to claim, to quote Malcolm X. Anything. You are a victim, you are counter-revolutionary. So he out his cigarette on it. A lot of torture methods was carried out against Grenadians. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my brother.
The caller is worse than the thief. You say all of them leave and they go in America, but who cares it? So they have to go. They didn't born to go. Because things would have been good. It's only Bishop had the blueprint for Grenada. And the guy talked yesterday about Israel and Palestine.
What you said about who are the
problem?
You said something about blueprint for Grenada. Who are the blueprint for Grenada?
Bishop had the blueprint.
What was the blueprint? To jail people without charge and trial? To murder?
You didn't kill them.
Huh?
You didn't kill them.
What's about the sister from Brunchgrove? You agreed with that? What's about the Rastafarians that he had in the coal pen? You agree with that? That was the blueprint for Grenada?
All the 3,000. In the other country, they would have killed all the 3,000.
So was it right? Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that?
And I have to say something again.
Do you agree? Do you agree with jailing 3,000 Grenadians?
Boy, he didn't kill them.
So once what's about Clotilda? What's about the sister from Brunchgrove? You agree with her execution? What's about the target practice I was taking on Mikey Foot? What's about the individuals from Montrich and Tivoli, the treatment that they got? Do you agree with that?
But a lot of people does be painting, Mr. MP. The things always happen.
Caller, you see how you can't face the truth? You have to face the truth. For us to make a change in Grenada, we have to face the truth. When we're speaking about Bishop, we propagate the lies. You hear I spoke about the airport and NIS and the amount of people that went to communist countries and get a profession. And I said that was good. Well, you must face the truth.
Yes.
So jailing 3,000 Grenadians, including Tillman Thomas, Kennedy Boudlal, Kenny Lalsin, Dr. Japal, Leslie Phillip. That was correct.
But there was a point in time, Mr. Pierre, there was a point in time when they would have come out. But at the same time, in other countries,
you would like to go to jail without charge and trial? Without a charge, without trial, without even telling you what you do? You would have liked to spend 3 years and months in prison? And your children outside? And your whole family Dekeke. You would have liked that for yourself?
I would have liked it, but at a point in time, as I said, they would have.
Well, what was the justification for that? What blueprint Bishop had? Tell us the blueprint. Tell us the blueprint Bishop had.
To eliminate poverty from Grenadians. And now poverty gone back to Grenada. 5 and
Maurice Bishop eliminate poverty from Grenadians?
Yeah, that we was trying to get rid of.
How you were doing it? By jailing the parents? 3 children. You must have known that they left 3 children in the woods. They lock up the mother and father as the Rastafarians. And these 3 children was left in the wood. Lucky somebody passed and see them. One of them is a journalist today. Is this things right? We have to have a sense of wrong and right. You know? We have to have a sense of what is good and what is not good. It can't be only towards our convenience. How that could be right? Yes, caller, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, caller. You see, we have to have a sense of what is right and what is wrong. I learned that when a child is 7 years old, they are reached the age where they could recognize what is wrong and what is right. 7 years. We as adults have to determine what is wrong and what is right. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, boy. Day before I went out in the ocean and fish, and I discovered some oil outside there, you know.
Caller, you make these little statements, and sometimes I don't know how to reply to you. And you, caller, too, have to determine what is wrong and what is right, and what is the truth. And caller, Grenada waters have oil. Trinidad have oil. Venezuela have oil. Guyana have endless oil. So Grenada waters definitely have oil. A number of people since in Gary days, government has been trying for the discovery of oil in Grenada. The political party that reached closest to that realization is the NNP. And you could make little jabs at that or what, but that's a fact. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Yes, we do have oil. Carlos Andre Perez of Venezuela confirmed that there are oil in Grenada waters. And as a result, Venezuela used to benefit from our oil. So Carlos Andre Perez used to send 2 tankers of oil to Grenada every year to assist with government institutions. And they also assisted in the forced housing scheme in Grenada, the Venezuelan government. That's a fact that Grenada has oil deposits in its territorial waters. However, Mr. Pierre, today, March 13th, Grenada's forced revolution, that social revolution, cannot go unnoticed on March 13th. That March 13th, which cost the lives of the martyrs of that revolution in Latant, cannot go unheard. However, March seems to be a very active month in our history. The Federal Rebellion, March 13th. The Grenada statehood, March 3rd, when Hubert Blaise became premier, and we flew our first flag, the blue, the yellow, and the green, with the nutmeg in the middle of that flag. On our first national anthem, written by Alston Adams, and music by Dr. John George Fletcher, Hope of Our Future. All these took place in March. However, on March 12th, 1951. One of the greatest bills which was signed, which alleviated some of the problems of the marginalized people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. When the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union signed that declaration, where the workers of the scavengers, the laborers on the estate, the travel workers receive 50% hike in their salaries. From the abolition of slavery to 1951, the highest pay that this category of workers got was 60 cents for men and 50 cents for women. After that bill was signed, they got a $1 and $1.20 respectively, which was a high price.
125?
Yes, at that time. Okay? So you see, the whole aspect of the development, and which they refer to as the end of the salvocracy of Grenada, when the governor, Arundel, the labor commissioner, Balrook, and the chief of police, Pitwick, and all the estate owners and other governmental departments were involved in that signing on that day. So, you see, the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union was the banner bearer of taking industrial action in Grenada, which all unions are benefiting from today. After the revolution, they split up the union, and two other unions now benefited from the representation of the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union. And we must pay tribute to the martyrs in Latin. Agatha Fraser, Snell Fraser, and John Duncan. The blood was shed on March 13th, 1951, which changed the whole socio and economic status of our country. That was the platform, the beginning of the transformation which brought us to the point of adult suffrage in our country. So I want to highlight this March 13th and the role that Eric Matthew-Geary played when he's talking about alleviating poverty. When people speak about developing the self-esteem in a people who was trampled by the plantocracy, that is a date in history we must also remember. The contribution. And today I want to salute all the workers who have been represented by the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union. The late Butler Touche, who stood up after the death of Sir Eric and ensured that union was one of the unions representing that group of people in Grenada. So the people on the estate on Moncrule, and River Antoine, Lara, all the cooks today in the schools who are fighting for their just salary, these people was represented and is still represented by that union. And all unions today must salute the effort made and the achievement of Eric Matthew-Geary and the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union. At the same time, Mr. Pierre, right, I want to encourage Dr. Clarice Modest Cohen, who is chairman of the Caucus of Women in Grenada, that to have a special celebration next year, which would celebrate the 100th anniversary of women being franchised in Grenada. Now, Dr. Modest is serving 25 years, the mother of the Parliament of Grenada. She's now serving 25 years. It is now 99 years since women were franchised. In 1925, women was franchised in Grenada. And they had to be at age 30 and have the same substance as a male counterpart who was 20, who had to be 21 at the time. And so he's now serving quarter century in that period. And so I want today to also big up Dr. Modest for having served the parliament of this country for 25 years. And let us all salute the benefit of the social revolution of March 13th, which was started on the 19th of February and ended on the 19th of March, when the Governor General informed the Home Office in England that the Greater Manual and Mental Workers Union has agreed with the terms and conditions to end the strike. Have a good evening, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, Scholar and Dr. Clarice Modest Cohen.
Yeah.
I think, Dr. Cohen, you hardly have a choice.
Yeah.
You perhaps is the single authority serving 25 years out of the 100 years women were franchised.
Yeah.
And particularly the area you come from. So we're going to constantly charge you, expect you to lead that celebration, Dr. Clarice Modest Cohen.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, she have to. That's the mother of the parliament in our country.
No one is more qualified than her.
No one can walk away in that shit.
And particularly after the political neophyte try to be so dismissive of you.
Yeah, because you see, you know, I listen to, you know, to all these people and they want to argue with Dr. Modest. Some of them were not yet even in Pampas when Dr. Modest was in Parliament. You understand? And you see, that's where the lack of respect for seniority comes in. You understand? They lack respect for the lady, you know. But we can ensure that she's setting a record. That bar will be very, very hard to take down. When you talk about records, that's going to be a political record in the Parliament of Greater Kaiko and Pitimapik. Because I see she going to 30 plus, yeah?
I think she should.
Yeah.
I think she should.
I don't see no reason.
I see no reason why she should walk out.
No.
Particularly after we have had this experience of these neophytes. Yeah.
Because I remember in 1999 when she took over from Dewsbury, I had a conversation with Hensley Ned because I did not know at the time, and he said nobody could beat Clarice in St. Mark. Forget about Henry Daly, no match, and Hensley has proven to be right. Yeah. And we also have to take into consideration that despite the fact that Sir Eric introduced women in politics, it has been Dr. the Right Honorable Kit Mitchell, who has given 45, you could say, or even 49% of his cabinet was women. And therefore, we must charge Dr. Modest with that responsibility. She can't duck from it.
Yes, we wouldn't let her. And I don't think she would.
No.
Yeah.
Have a nice day, Dr. Modest.
Yes, Dr. Modest, we add an additional responsibility to you. Not only about Breadfruit celebration in St. Mark's, we want you to carry the banner
she had to be the banner
for the 100 years celebration of the franchising of women. Yeah. You don't have to bother with those political neophytes. If they could call you mad black woman, imagine what they would say for the women of the lower income group.
But you see, Mr. Pierre, and also, you know, I always remember the contribution made by Baby Bascom, you know, that woman who stand on the banks of the river Gangan and ensure that morning walk be something of the past, you know.
Yeah.
And he stopped the men from carrying spoon from the river Gangan to Nayangan for, you know. Baby Bascom, grandchildren, take a bow. I know you have grandchildren living in Fontenoy. They are relative in the St. James and the Bodgrove area. That is a giant of a woman that we had in this community. You talk about she's a cricket enthusiast. She was a mass band leader. She led her choral band. You know, and she was just a live wire in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, heavy, big, strong woman. But she stood about 6'6", you know. And she weighed over 300 pounds, you know, as a big woman, you know. Yeah, man. So
and she didn't have size for nothing.
No, no, no. You know, and in closing, when Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg, when he delivered that State of the Union address, one of the things that he said to us, that those who have died did not die in vain.
Yes,
and today, as we remember Agatha Fraser, Snell Fraser, and Eric Matthew, those people who lost their lives during the 51 strike, that they did not die in vain because we have reaped the benefit of, as they became martyrs, we reap the benefit of what they have sacrificed, the ultimate sacrifice that they have made for us. Thank you.
Yes, scholars, the month of March, man. I like baby Bascom on the banks of the Ganga River. Some of the children are not proud of their grandparents. And I always hear some people who claim they're successful talking about a start from zero. Zero what? People make you. The great ancestors led the way. They helped fix the pitch. And baby Bascom on the banks of the Ganga River did it. Dr. Clarice Modest Cohen, she too is one of our local heroes. 25 years in Parliament. 25 years. She could have picked up she Georgie bundle and gone and work in any part of the world. She could have left Victoria and gone and live in gated communities. But she remained with her people in every sense of the word. Not only in talk, in Shotley too. So I believe, Dr. Modest, you have owned the right. And we expect you to lead the banner for the 100 years celebration for the franchise of women. And when we could speak about those who have gone before and our descendants, because they helped to make us. We did not start from zero. And the political party that helped to champion the cause of women, almost 50% of the people in the lower house was women. They gave young women a chance. Young progressive women. They gave them a chance and they did not fail us. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, scholar, welcome.
When Ms. Christ Mother spent 25 years in Parliament?
Caller, you have some things. Caller, you have some things. How much years she spend there, caller?
Kit Mitchell spent...
Caller, you talking, caller, you jump on Kit. Leave Kit a while and come back on Clarice. How much years she spent as a representative for her constituency?
She spent at least 15 years as representative of parliamentary representative in there. Mr. Pierre,
Caller.
we had 3 other persons before Carl Morris come in. Carl Morris come in 2001. What are you talking about?
See, caller, there is something called history. All right, thank you, caller. Thank you. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. You there, caller? We lost this one? Caller?
No, I'm here.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah. Are you convinced now that Deacon Mitchell is a budding communist or dictator?
Dick Mitchell is not a communist. Dick Mitchell is not a dictator. Dick Mitchell have a group of vultures with him that attracted by money. He is not a dictator. Yeah. He have vultures with him that attracted by money. And he decided to use, not even his money using it. Dick Mitchell seems like an aberrant parasite. He end up using government coffers to help to keep the group of vultures. Deacon say that morality is a private thing. And none of them tell him no. Deacon say you could use truck to pick mango and guava and coconut. And not even persuader tell Deacon to stop that. That is not true. So these individuals, they congregate for a common factor to plunder the GDB bank and the coffers of government. Dick is not a dictator. You don't even know nothing about that. He's an aberrant parasite. He's a vulture.
Okay.
He's a fake.
Okay. Okay, then. Thank you.
Yes, he's not a dictator. What he's using is the coffers of government. 4 ministers. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
I just calling to correct an individual caller. Dr. Modest.
You really?
In 1999.
You really decided to waste
She
time.
started in 1999. Right? Her very first political entry when Dr. Mitchell won 15 seats. She is serving 25 years in the House of Parliament. She served in almost every ministry in government. Yeah, the Minister for Health, Minister for Agriculture, Minister for Works, Minister for Tourism, Minister for Foreign Affairs. Right? So she deserves her reward.
I asked the guy to go and do some research, you know. I told my partner to do some research, you know. I didn't belabor the point.
No,
I just said him and do some research.
But Mr. Pierre, the man lived, first that man hate Kit Mitchell. The man lived from Dr. Modest and he jumped.
No, I didn't let him go. I didn't let him go to Kit. I want to give Kit a break. I want you to give Kit I want you to give Kit a break this time. So I said him go and research. I think it is worthy if he do his own research. Because if I research and help him, he will believe me.
Do no research. But Mr. Pierre, that man does not do no research. That man will just call, mouth open, watch jump out. The man don't even know when the woman to take office.
Yeah, but I think on this one,
go into the political arena.
I think this one he's going to do.
And she take it. And she take it over from the late Juice Berry. Yeah. When Juice Berry won in 1995. Yeah, that was when I make my first X against with Dr. not Dr. but Albert Forsyth. My intention was to vote for NNP, but he have this guy from Maran who was campaigning for Albert Forsyth, and he said, well, Albert Forsyth running independent, and he looking for votes, and he's Albert Forsyth campaign manager, and so I said, well, jump in, first time, naive, young. I go and vote for Forsyth. The day I vote for Forsyth, the same day, the same Sam Brown go and vote for NNP. He told and even Forsyth. So I say, you see me in 99, in next time around, when I sticking with NNP, become a whole household was NNP where I grew up. Whole household NNP. That is what I knew. From since in 1984, and I used to admire Dr. Mitchell when he was Minister for Works. What he do in the rural community with electric, with electricity, with the water and everything. From since Minister for Works, and then when he took over the party, and he won 2 seats with Malcolm Antoine and Dr. Mitchell. Yeah, and then he took over at that time in House of Parliament. That man talked for 3 days straight.
Yeah, he talked
even Judge Breezen and Francis Alexis and him a lash. You know. So I just want to give that old man history.
One of the things a lot of NNP political activists forget or they don't know. The first time they had something like a Imani program introduced was under Kit Mitchell. Because I remember
that's right. And
at that time, about 17 people from a community enter under that program. And I named 15 of them. I was in the rum shop and people was taking me on. And one fella, he talk about this program and I write down 15 names. And I say, you're a bandit. Go and employ them. A man say he'll never take advice from you. But he employed 15 out of the 17 names. The first time they had something like a little Imani program. The Imani wasn't used. Was under Kit Mitchell in communication and work.
Of course, Of course, okay. But and I'm glad to see how he established it when he became prime minister. I think
Well, some, you
that
see,
thing started was in
think
2001.
I think this
I think
question,
it started in 2001, 2003.
yeah.
Somewhere around that. Just can't remember.
But caller, I
Yeah.
think it's all about the people involved. People are involved and they're concerned about employment for the people in the lower income group. It's like when Gary bring nursing aids. There was a lot of objection to nursing aids, you know. They say Gary bring nursing aids, so those nurses that against him, he go throw them out. They look at nursing aids stay. The caregivers program.
But you see, Mr. Pierre, just check on what Gary did before and who used to oppose him. They know the thing was good enough, but they find Gary have this kind of a vision, and when he implementing this thing, he go get too much popularity. And the same thing with Dr. Mitchell. Today, don't matter what, when Dr. Mitchell was in office, don't matter what he do, who used to fight him now. For example, look at Persuader go and take a whole bunch of people and demonstrate with a hotel against a hotel in St. David's. Today he's saying you have to sacrifice for development. What a level of hypocrisy was going on in this country with some of our political activists
Thank you,
some
caller.
of our political leaders and stuff. Well,
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Go on and on, but
no, don't go on. Have somebody else want to come on. Thank you, caller. Yes, caller, welcome. Oh, you caller gone. All right, so pick up the telephone again and give us a call. March 13, March 12, March 19. Grenada seems to be. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hello, Mr. Pierre.
Welcome.
Okay. I want to say to that, I don't really do rebuttals, right?
Yeah.
But I want to say to that caller, if we do like a synopsis of St. Mark, Grenada's first revolutionary, Julian Fedor, grew up in St. Mark on the Lancer Estate, which is now called Bonnet. Fedor brothers and sisters, 7 of them, were born in St. Mark's and baptized in the St. Rose Catholic Church in St. Mark. St. Mark's first representative under adult suffrage was H.A.E. Markey in 1951. Then L.C.J. Thomas from 54 to 57. L.C.J. Thomas won St. Mark and St. John on a ticket of the PDM in 1957. And L.C.J. Thomas was the last representative of St. John, St. Mark combined. A.O. Forsyth was the first representative of St. Mark that started in 1961. St. Mark and St. John were separated. So we had 8 constituencies in 1957. In 1961, it came to 10. So St. Mark was separated from St. John, and the parish of St. George was divided into north and south. So L.C.J. Thomas served as the last legislator and the first MP for St. Mark. Tell your partner who wants to dispute everything, go back and do research. Because I speak, I don't boast him, but when I speak, I have according to
tobacco well pressed.
Yeah, I had the receipt.
Tobacco well pressed.
Yeah, I had.
Master can't say he had the receipt.
Yeah,
I believe in the historicity.
Yeah, I want to join Master call on that. And I still want Dr. Abodes to do something in Hero Square with Julian Fedor.
Yeah.
Because that family came to St. Mark because Fedor was born in 1750, and when he was about 14 years, the family migrated from Martinique to St. Mark. And he grew up there on the Lancer Estate, which was a coffee and cocoa estate. That estate was sold to Francois Philippe in 1791, and Julian used that money to buy Belvedere from William and James Campbell.
Tobacco well pressed. Yes, scholar. You can pick up the telephone and give us a call, 4420175. The month of March seems to be a very active month in Grenada history. From Fedor. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
You know, it's so interesting when my good friend bring the history to us.
Yes, man.
I remember, well, I'll tell you this. I fought against Gary from 1972 thereabouts, 73, when the NGM party was formed. I was one of the first set of members, and I'm talking about maybe the first 20 or so members of the NGM party. And at the same time, I could tell you I never hate Gary, and I never hate people based on politics. But that was the trajectory of the party, generally speaking. It's a whole set of preaching of it. And one thing you never got me to do, even though I became president of the party at one time, you never had me propagating lies and propaganda against Gary or people in general in life. So I was never in line with the party, along with a lot of things that the party used to be saying. To the extent that I observed the mentality of the party and the people generally, the attitude of the people. And I used to say that when we get into power, we'll be no different from Gary and the Garyites. Because all the criticism that the NGM was doing against Gary, the same set of tendencies and attitude was showing up within the party. At the same time, Eric Matthew Gary became very swell-headed in Grenada. And he was doing things along with his supporters that was terrible to my mind. I ended up leaving the NGM party in 1976 after the election. So I never took part in party politics after that. But when the revolution came, the day of the revolution, I had no problem with taking over the country at the time, because I find Gary got too swell-headed for his own good. But it never blocked my mind from seeing what was going inside the NGM and the PRG. And because I used to say, well, when we get into power, we'll be no different from Gary and the Garyites, I was able to observe and conclude in the end that what Bishop and the revolution did was worse than Gary. So people hear me say that all the time nowadays, and they might be surprised. But Bishop and the revolution did worse than Gary. Yes, a lot of the projects and programs that they had propelled Grenada forward, and they got things done. But when you look back at Gary's ability to initiate things that was new and so novel to our society and to create differences in this country, you have to conclude that Gary was the best among them, up to the point when Kit Mitchell come and outshine him. And I've concluded that. Kit Mitchell has now come and outshine Gary. But compare Gary with those before Kit Mitchell, especially before 2013 and up to now. They can't walk in Gary's shoe. That's a fact. But taking a look at the NGM and the PRG itself, I always tell people the reason why the revolution failed is because the party never kept to the motto of the party, which was, let those who labor hold the rein. This is why all the guys who took over the country from the countryside in March 13, like Kennedy Budlal, Jay Budlal, Bog Budlal, all the other guys on them, Charles, all the other guys on them, just about all of them either end up in jail or they had to flee the country or go and hide in a crab hole, as you might say it. And that's part of the problem, because those who came in and took over the situation, they were never part of the process before. A lot of the guys in town in the St. George's area and in the St. David area were to an extent brainwashed by Bernard Code. And let me remind people and may help people to understand, George Brizan was one of the teacher, was one of the most active teacher in teaching these guys and them communism. You know. People don't know that. But I used to be a part of the party, so I knew what was going on inside the party. I ended up in lecture where George Bizan lecturing us all them kind of things. This is why you might see that George Bizan never end up in jail. But because you had a set of neophytes, as you might call them, they come and take over the reins of things. They never knew the motto of the party, let those who labor hold the rein. Bishop didn't care about it, so it backfired on him in the end. And this is why I wasn't so sorry for Bishop, because all the guys who were there, with the struggle as we used to call it, for all the years, Bishop put all of them in jail.
Yeah.
What do you expect to happen?
Yeah.
So the guys who had the foundation concept of what the party and what the progress and program was supposed to be like, they
abandoned the objectives.
That's what the problem is. They abandon the objective, and Bishop become a fool, as you might say it. Yeah. People don't like to hear that, maybe.
Bishop was an idiot.
And I still like Bishop.
Yeah, of course, but he was an idiot.
It's not a question. Yes, if he's an idiot, he's an idiot. And that's what the problem is. To understand this type of thing.
You have to face reality.
Was a problem. You have to face reality. Let those who labor hold the rein. After they get into power, a whole set of neophyte, people who never knew the progress, the program of the party, became leaders of the party. How are you expecting to work? After you fight all these years to get rid of Gary, to get rid of and create a new system that was organized by people who struggled all the years, dealing with the subject matter. I used to be, when we have seminars and so on, the group I will be a part of, because sometimes we sit down, we discuss things. At the end, they would choose somebody to be the spokesman for the group during the seminars. And I will be chosen. Because when it comes to talking and saying things, I'm afraid to say what I have to say. I think I'm a good analyst in a sense of the word. People think I am so too. So I put things in perspective, make sense of things. The thing about it is that biasness, narrow-mindedness is what blind people. And those you see who hate Kit Mitchell, those who hate Kit Mitchell, this is what they're not getting.
Yeah, the same kind of hate they had for Gary that. Yes, scholar.
Yes, the same kind of take.
Yeah. Yes, we may be able to take one caller again, 4420175. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, Michael.
And how are you?
Great, man. Good, man.
Mr. Pierre, I listened to one of the previous callers and said that the motto of the revolution was let those who labor hold the rein. And I tend to disagree with him when he mentioned about people from St. David's and these areas coming in. Remember, the Jewel movement started in St. David's at Rucane. And it started under Whitaker Jeremiah, Fitzroy Bain, Eric Campbell, Teddy Victor. They actually started as a library in Rucane. And then having children coming there, and that's when they started introducing children into this thing. And then they change it to the New Jewel movement.
Well, I'll Teddy Victor and end up in jail too.
That's right. And Jewel said joint endeavor for welfare, education, and liberation. But when it started getting too big for St. David's, that's when they moved on to Lucas Street. The secretary in St. David's was Miss Maudlin Perez. All these things started in St. David's, this Jewel movement. There was a lady.
Where Max started?
Pardon?
Max.
I don't remember that, but I know for a fact that Jewel started in St. David's. And I want to thank the historian again for talking about Mr. L.C.J. Thomas, who was legislator for the parish of St. Mark, St. John's. He's originally from St. David's. That's my mother's nephew. And, when you think about it, it's a lot of history. And this is part of the history that I never knew. I knew he was involved in politics, but I never knew that he represented St. Mark, St. John.
Yes, scholar.
So that's all I wanted to say. But the Jewel movement is...
Jewel, Max, and Orel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, thank you. But we could continue anytime in any aspect of Grenada history.
All right.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yes, well, we may just have room for the last caller if you call now. Otherwise, as I say again, we have to prepare to accept the past. Yes, caller, welcome. Punch. Caller, you there?
Comrade, who you voting for? LCJ Thomas.
All right, the caller just threw a little punch. Yes, we have our history, and we have to remember Grenada is a small country, about 110,000 people. Our population have not risen in any significant way in the last 70 years. We like one family because people work in different departments, whether you're from St. Patrick's or St. George's. Whatever program we have in Grenada, we must not fracture Grenada. We must not let the past fracture us. All Grenadians is good people. But it's good people that fall short of the glory of God, so they just do wrong thing. So we don't need to partition Grenada into good people and bad people and nasty people and classless people. We cannot do that. When it comes from the leadership of the country, it is worse. So I want to appeal to Deacon and his group to cease and desist from continuing to fracture Grenada. The language that you use so readily and easily, discontinue it and disassociate yourself from this language. Language like beggy, classless, nasty people, good people, lunatic and idiot. All of us in Grenada is one people. We are members of the same family. Some brothers supporting NDC, some brothers supporting NNP, and they're living good. So please, Deacon, I beg you, discontinue fracturing this country. Abandon your policy of restorative justice and disband, get rid of the Ministry of MIT, because that ministry was set up for political mischief. I plead with you, Deacon. If you don't do that, you're going to end up with low productivity in all departments, because you continue to practice political mischief. That is the result of what's going on in the police force now. Political mischief. You're complaining about the workers in finance. That is the result of it. You is the chief culprit. You're supposed to cease and desist. We're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch.